according to this bio. All right, so she's the founder of the Center Within and author of the Living from the Center Within, co-creating who you are becoming. Okay, let me read that again. Living from the Center Within, co-creating who you are becoming. She provides holistic coaching designed to accelerate and support personal, professional, and organizational transformation. While working with Michele, clients become more confident and engaged as they enhance their gifts, talents, wisdom, and passions. She also, they also gain clarity and power as they expose and unblock limiting beliefs, stuck patterns, and fears. During individual sessions and organizational development, Michele utilizes her abilities in deep listening, intuition, appreciative inquiry, spiritual practices, mindfulness, presence, and emotional intelligence. Coaching with Michele, clients create self-directed strategies to implement the changes they desire to create the life they love. So, Lake Harris Spiritual Community, help me welcome Michele Ray. Yes.
There we go. Huh? I'll take this off in a minute. So we'll chat a bit about this. I would really like it to be interactive, you know. So we'll a couple times break and have a little discussion about some aspect of this with someone maybe that you don't know, you know, just so we can build a little community and share your wisdom. And we'll also do a guided meditation, kind of really opening ourselves up to that sense, that energy flow of divine feminine. And really the ending part, I wanted to talk about the new era that's happening, right? We're in this liminal space, moving between one species to another. Personally, I believe we're in a shift like that big. And when I look into what that looks like optimally, it's really a fusion of the masculine and feminine, right? And transcending the unhealthy aspects of either of those energies. So I want to talk a little bit about my vision of that, and then we'll do the guided meditation really visioning how we want to optimally live our life, internally balanced, flowing the masculine and feminine energies so we can be in the world emanating the energy and frequency that will support us co-creating who we are becoming, the subtitle of my book. So Okay, work for you. And thank you to all who are watching this live streaming and all who will be watching it some other time. So we'll invite them into our conversation as well and bring them into our energetic pool. So maybe we'll just take a moment or two together to set a cohesive energy in the room, in our bodies, in our community. So wiggling around, settling in, let's find our breath. And a deep, cleansing, inspiring breath in. And when we release and breathe out, we just set free anything that no longer serves. We connect here, heart to heart. We invite our guides, masters, the earth energies, the fairies, the divas, explodingly supporting spring in Minnesota here. And we open every aspect of our own multidimensional self, connecting to Mother Earth on this Mother's Day, feeling her energy resonate with our energy, flowing up and in and as and through us. And we also open to the non-physical aspects of ourselves, our mental body, etheric body, aura, quantum point connection, soul, the chakras outside of our body. Those aspects of ourselves that communicate with the unseen world. In conversations in the upper room, I call them sometimes, where creativity, inspiration, revelation, synchronicity, where we notice the multi-dimensional aspects of our self. On this Mother's Day, we open to receive the blessings, the energy, the infusion of love and light that is our birthright and continuously flowing to support us. So we open to receive any clarity, wisdom, insight, creativity that will enhance our capacity to fully blossom into our most authentic and empowered self. So once again, feeling that flow heart to heart in this room, non-locally, for those who might be in this space and time later. We receive these blessings and return our attention to our breath. We'll take one more deep breath in and out. When you're ready, wiggle your fingers and toes and bring all of your attention back into this space. We didn't even have anyone fall asleep. That's the advantage of being able to do guided meditation in the morning. Huh? So when you think of qualities of mothering, birthing, the feminine, what are some of the words that you use to describe that? Say again. Nurturing, protecting, unconditional, guiding, teaching, yes, receiving, trusting, intuitive, caring. It's really all the cycles of the divine feminine. The birthing, the nurturing, right, the growing, every phase. And there's also the energy of destruction, of death, right? The cycle, the full cycle of birth and death that the divine feminine, we're often, as women on the planet, have been the keepers keepers of the wisdom, the medicine women, right? The ones who accompany those who transition both in birth and death, right? We honor the many qualities of the divine feminine. And of course, they live in every human being, men and women. We all contain the qualities of receiving and intuition. Ooh, I had a little milk in my tea this morning. So think about inside of you, what kinds of qualities do you have? Generous, trusting, attentive, loyal, curious, right? And how do they serve you? Practically speaking, in your everyday life. We have so many beautiful examples of the divine feminine, of goddess energy. What are some of your favorites? Do you have any energetic, divine, feminine goddess that you connect with? Yes, sir. Kuan Yin, yes, a Buddhist goddess. She is the heart of compassion. It's another word. Mary Magdalene. She was, I don't know if any of you have studied the Mary Magdalene Gospels. They are very profound. Gospels of Thomas speak a bit about that too. And Mother Mary herself, right? And the energy of the high priestesses of the Essene lineage. Mm-hmm. Kuan Yin's story is quite powerful also, how she came to her own gifts, her own full blossoming. Any more other goddess energies that you've studied or that you connect with for intuition or support? Yes. Mhm. Ah. She is powerful. Yeah. Yeah, I think of Isis in that, right? We have all the Egyptian goddesses. Whew. I remember, I don't know, I name my cars. So I have a daughter and a son, but I have a daughter that the kids, we are here in the Twin Cities. They now live in San Francisco, my daughter and my son and his wife, and 4 grandchildren are in Buffalo, New York. But my daughter had a car, we bought a used car. They were driving to high school, and they were going to a dance one night. But the car was named Isis. It's making me think of this. A protector, all the things we're just talking about, right? Infusing, even though it's metal, with this energy. And they were driving to a dance. I was actually at a retreat out at Koinonia, and they got into an accident. 6 people in the car. Nobody was hurt. The car was completely totaled. And I think the energy of Isis, So there's these powerful people. Kali is another goddess energy that comes to me, right? This, picture her with skulls under her feet often. This powerful, she often gets coined destruction, but what I see is that's the energy that makes the fall flowers disintegrate and become fertilizer, right, for the phoenix arising. So sort of, again, these powerful energies. You can think about you had mentioned, sir, the Greek goddesses and gods, and also the, what are the other ones? I'm thinking Greek and Roman. Thank you very much. They're kind of parallel, have different names. But it is really amazing to study the archetypes of the different goddess energies and just lean into them, again, with kind of our non-physical aspects of ourselves. I call it kind of merging. I like to do it with a tree. I don't know, I had a really cool experience with a whale down in Mexico. We had this whole conversation and walked next to each other for 20 minutes. And it's sort of like you can merge that aspect of yourself with their consciousness, their awareness, and learn from it. be supported by it. I'm off on a tangent here, but I was actually doing a qigong on the beach that day and asking neutrinos to tell me what they know. Have you ever heard of neutrinos? They're these tiny little quantum physics-y particles. 100,000 of them go through 1 cubic centimeter of your body every second. We're not really sure, but some of the research is sort of like we have the morphic field or distant healing and prayer. And one of the theories is that's the carrier of the energy at the quantum level. So I'd heard a little thing about it, caught my attention, heard another little thing. So I'm doing qigong, right? So this same kind of process, very much in our everyday life, we can learn from, literally, the energy of some of the divine goddesses. Exactly. Here's a couple. Amma, have any of you ever seen Amma, Mother Mira? She's a hugging saint from India, if you've heard of her. Shakti, Shiva, right? Some of that very powerful goddess energy. The native, you're making me think of the earth, right? And the medicine women and the herbalists, right? And all of the healing we're doing, because the divine feminine walking in the way of being the healer, the medicine woman, we didn't have a very good run for a little while in the Middle Ages, right, around the Inquisition times. So we're healing and restoring this balance. So much wisdom in the native medicine woman. And Mother Earth herself, right now, springing forth. I don't know, I have some hostas in the backyard. It's north facing. And I'm literally getting up every day to see how much they've grown. Because they're just popping. I mean, it's so cool. We were talking about community gardening. Our friend here spent several hours last Sunday in the garden and getting our feet wet, getting our hands dirty, really feeling that connection and learning from the energy of Mother Earth. So this is our opportunity to find somebody you don't know and chat a bit about this, any of the information that we've been talking about. But what is your connection? Do you have stories with Mother Earth, the goddess, Gaia, energy? And then how do these qualities that we've been talking about play out in your life? How do you bring them to the surface when needed? How does compassion and trusting and receiving? And anything else you want to talk about. Introduce yourself, find out where you live, whatever. Your involvement here at Lake Harriet. But we'll take, 5 minutes or so and find someone you know or don't know and chat a bit. So anything you want to share from your discoveries? Great. It's fun to be able to have men and women share about masculine and feminine energy and to recognize it in yourself. And I think that's the beautiful part, is that we don't have to, sometimes there's a nature and a nurture to having a preference of what's forward facing. You know, our society right now tends to reward more masculine behavior, right? More get it done, suck it up, produce, dissect, all the things. And we don't have to diminish that. We just want to bring our feminine, in that case, up to 100%. So we got 100% going on with 100%. And then in any given moment, you know, whatever seems to arise in us, emerge in us as the most optimal behavior, choice, conversation, we can go with that. We can trust it. I know as a coach, it's really amazing to be invited into those one-on-one conversations with people working those growing edges. It's so tender. It's such sacred work. And there's nothing I can do to prepare except get all of my attention in the present moment and be with what's arising. And sometimes it's so tender, right? And you just sit and radiate that love energy. And other times it's like, yeah, we talked about that 3 times ago, and you already, and you know, where's this aspect, this self-sabotaging inner critic coming from? And call her out or him out. You know what I mean? So it's like we trust if we have both fully blossomed any given moment. The circumstance in the present moment informs our choices. So part of the aspect of the feminine is this creativity. How many of you consider yourself creative beings? Oh, I like it, most of you. I'm going to challenge you all. I challenged myself when I did this to imagine all of the ways I'm creative, all of the things I have birthed in the world. So even considering being an everyday mystic, that's what I call all of us, what are some things that you have created where you can feel that creative force emerging in you? Everyday things, big things. Yeah. A healing business. So we've let the healing come through us as a creative force, and then the business aspect of it. I've taught a business course at the Center for Spirituality and Healing at the University of Minnesota for a number of years now. And I love the intuitive, you know, it's both the masculine and feminine. You got to let it flow. You got to wake up. I woke up in morning between sleep and awake one morning, and the center within came to me as a dot. And then the letter CW kind of making a circle, and then opened up to the center within, and then returned to the dot in this. And you know, it's been 22 years of some of the masculine parts of it, right? Putting a book together, for instance. That was a real creative force of love that came out of people asking, do you have the teachings that you talk about in one place? I'd like to share it with my sister or my neighbor. And I was like, you know, I don't know about you. I kind of argue with God, or however I think about that. The creative urge sounds like a lot of work. It just sort of kept coming, and it kept coming again, and then met an editor who was a friend that we did some trades, right, for coaching, and one thing led to another. What do we say yes to, that creative force? How about others? Painting, all kinds of art, sculpting, drawing, etching, organizing, beautiful to have that be creative. Some of us in this room, as we hear you, might think, ooh, that's like way a lot of work and it's not creative at all. But it's right when you finish and it's gorgeous and that feng shui and all that, right? The energetic part of it, the colors. Thank you. Foster children. Ooh, that is a love. You have an automatic admission into heaven, I think, if you. I think of foster parents, well, parents in general, and anyone who teaches or does anything with middle school children, personally. Yeah. So it's not just the chore of planting the garden, he's telling us. It's a creative process where you literally share the energy, almost a blessing, both directions. You plant it, give it your blessing, and then see what blessing might emerge. Yes, yeah. The, oh, fun. I really appreciate that. Here's a list. See if you've done any of these things, right? Think about cooking or decorating. We talk about organizing, some of the art. Relationships are a creative force. I did a talk here on relationship building and conflict resolution, writing, the business we talked about. An event, if you've created an event ever, it's a sacred activity of the divine feminine living in you. So as we move about the planet, we don't have to go somewhere else to do something specific. We just get to breathe and live our life. So this is the book I had written, and this is kind of, we're going to weave in the masculine, feminine, do a little guided imagery, and then have one more chance to connect before we close. As I've said, I believe we're in a huge evolutionary shift. And I see some of these old era qualities into the new era qualities being really important for us to understand what's happening. And part of it is this creative flow. There was a study that I found that I hadn't seen before as I was looking today to prepare this, and it talked about everyday creativity has the strongest effect on two particular dimensions of our well-being. One is what researchers call high activation positive effect, how energetic, enthusiastic, and excited one feels, which, as we even biochemically know, gives us endorphins and oxytocin and all the good stuff. And the second, on this creativity, we are creating a new reality, a new era, imagining it into being. The second dimension, enhanced by creativity, is what researchers call flourishing, a measure of how much meaning, engagement, and connectedness we feel, right? So as things come up in your life to create, what are you saying yes to? I've had an opportunity recently. I was invited by an organization called the Conscious Awakening Network. It's a global network of speakers and healers and teachers to become part of their group and to have some videos up and to live stream some things. And I went to a conference last month in San Diego called Portals to Ascension with a bunch of wildly amazing people, you know, I mean, just immersed in sacred geometry, immersed in the wisdom of the ancient Egypt pyramids, immersed in the wisdom of quantum physics and what we're learning. It was stunning to me. And what was really as a 62-year-old woman now, there were 3 people presenting in their 30s, and they were on fire about building this new era, building community. There's an organization in town here called New World Women, started by 3 women, and it is also a global launched platform where people, women in particular, can join. I've been invited to be a luminary, so another place in my life to say yes. Like, how do we say yes? And then if we outgrow something, how do we say no and keep moving into our power and the blossoming, whatever that looks like. And the New World Women is an organization online where there will be classes, there's a membership fee, and every time you log in and do self-care, do self-learning, or a kindness to someone else, you get financially rewarded for it. So you can make money every month. So prosperity is part of this model. I sat and listened to it, and a friend of mine is one of the 3 women starting, and I'm like, this is new era thinking, right? It's really stunning. So here's some of our masculine and feminine qualities, right? It is time for this balance. It's time for us on this planet to make every decision in every line of work, every part of society, education, medicine, finance, government, that encourages every human being to flourish and every live cell on the planet to flourish, right? So we can find ourselves in toxicity either direction, you know? So be mindful. We'll continue our learning. But we want to stay in the healthy. So I think of toxicity as the masculine of power over oppression, right? The feminine toxicity can be dismissing all uniqueness, all diversity, overdoing the oneness, and not finding the balance, right? So we'll continue our conversations over the new era arising in our being. I have some of the books with if anyone's interested. But I'd like to take a minute or 2 here and just do a little visioning together, if you're willing. So we'll kind of find our space again and wiggle around and invite a soft gaze. And find your breath. And feel the energy flowing through you. This beautiful, birthing, creative force that informs you, that you can tap into as a powerful way of knowing. And we invite today that energy flowing through us to assist us in enhancing all aspects of our being that contribute to our full blossoming, our flourishing. And with that divine energy, feminine birthing, creative force flowing through us, we also invite anything that no longer serves to be released. And when it's released, whether it's a belief or limitation, negative self-talk, it transmutes into free energy. Such a gift, the cycle of life. We'll take a moment and bring ourselves into our heart coherence by imagining a woman in our life who has had a positive, impactful influence. And feel the gratitude for her. Maybe your mother, sister, aunt, neighbor, teacher. And just feel that coherence of gratitude radiating throughout your body, literally bringing you into balance. So we open to the creativity and intuition in this moment. And if there has been a question or anything you're seeking clarity on, or a creative endeavor you've been considering, allow yourself to receive the wisdom, information, inspiration. In this moment, tapped into this creative feminine flow. And finally, we ask for optimal balance of the masculine and feminine energy in our experience of ourself. We invite this balance of masculine and feminine energy to be present with those people we come in contact with. Our families, our friends, community, society, Lake Harriet Spiritual Center. We invite an infusion of this powerful balance of masculine and feminine energy. As in nature, the wisdom of the balance prevails for optimal balance. We invite this energy, this beautiful fusion of masculine and feminine energy to prevail on this planet at every level. So together we imagine the new era where all this is so. And we commit in our daily activities, thoughts, behaviors, choices, to embody to the best of our ability, moment to moment, our fully empowered, authentic self. So we'll take 2 more breaths. And when you're ready, feel the gratitude, maybe even a smile on your face. And gently stretch, wiggle your fingers and toes. Very lovely. Wow. Thank you. That was quite an energetic infusion. So it's 20 after, and I think often we close down and we'll do something announcement, and then we'll do a closing circle. All right. Thank you all. It's beautiful.
Thank you, Michele. As I was sitting there listening to the conversation about the balance of the masculine and feminine, it reminded me of a conversation I had a couple weeks ago with one of my friends. And she has a granddaughter. She's 12 years old. She lives out in Portland. And she announced to her grandmother, she said, "I'm non-binary." And I had never heard that term. So I'm like, "Julie, what does that mean?" She's non-binary. And she said, "I'm neither masculine or feminine. I'm both. And why do I have to choose one over the other?" So I'm wondering if, that is evidence that we are shifting to find more of that balance. So anyway, that's my 2 cents. But thank you. All right, so in just a moment, the ushers will be passing the baskets. Lake Harriet Spiritual Community is solely funded by your generous donations. Thank you, Kim. And your donations help us keep the lights on, maintenance of the building going, and help us continue to present great speakers and the activities that happen here. So if you can give deeply. If you can't give today, consider becoming a regular donor through our PayPal account. So thank you. you know the lyrics, you can sing out. Wisdom. Let it be, let it be. Thank you, Gary. I don't remember as many words as I thought. All right. You remember them all. Good for you. I heard you. I was going to bring you the mic. But anyway. All right, if you'll help me bless the offering by repeating after me. God's perfect love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I give, all that I receive, and all that I am. Oh. All right, so we've just got a small group, so um, our tradition is to circle up, and the speaker will lead us in the closing. So how about these row, first couple of rows up here? I think we might have enough. A circlet. It's an oval today. It's going to be ellipse or an oval. Oh,
Perfect. All right. So, as we close today, we connect one more time. And imagine a flow of energy coming in through your right hand and out your left hand. And as it flows, it goes through your heart. And we send this gift of heart energy, pure love and light, enhancing, fortifying each other, sending unconditional positive regard for each other. And we connect to the optimal divine feminine energies that support us in balance with the optimal divine masculine energy. We have received today. We have asked today. And we are worthy and deserve so much goodness. In pure gratitude, we say to each other, Namaste. Namaste.